Hello, everyone. My name is Alicia. I am a digital bullet journal designer and enthusiast, and an unapologetic hoarder of books. I am going to share with you today my owned TBR, which has exploded over the last year. To some people, this might be perfectly normal. For me, considering the fact that I only read 10 books last year, I think I might have a bit of a problem. My goal this year is to read more books, but I do have some struggles with bipolar disorder and anxiety, which can sometimes make it difficult to get through all the books that I would like to get through. You'll see what I mean when we get to the pile of books that I'm currently in the middle of, why don't we do that first? I am currently in the middle of 5 books. This may seem excessive, probably is excessive, but all of those have had the pause button hit on them because some sort of anxiety problem. The first book that I started, that I'm in the middle of, is The Gate of the Feral Gods. It's the 4th book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. I absolutely love the series, but I've been reading it on audiobook, and I have a really hard time finding time to read audiobooks. I used to do a lot better when I would run at the track and I had that time to listen to audiobooks. But now I'm using a walking pad at home, so I just watch YouTube instead. And it's made it a lot harder to actually get through my audiobooks. The next book that I'm in the middle of is One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I started it this summer and was going through it really fast and really enjoying it. And then I hit this one part that got a little stressful and I just couldn't bring myself to pick it up anymore. I made my husband read through it and he gave me some mini spoilers, so I'm hoping to finish it soon, but I just haven't picked it back up yet. The next 2 books that I'm reading are Poison Study, which is another one that I'm reading on audiobook, so it has taken me a while to get into. I'm only about 3 hours in, and it is not high on the priority list, so we'll see when it gets finished. And then I am also reading When the Moon Hatched. I made the mistake of stopping right in the middle of a very intense scene, and I have not been able to pick it back up again because it's just too high anxiety and I haven't been able to make myself do it. But I am really enjoying this, and so I'd like to get back to it. The last book that I'm working on right now is Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. I am loving this book. It's also the first book that I am attempting to annotate. I am really enjoying it, but if you have any tips for annotating for me, leave those in the comments below because I would like to be better at doing it. Now that we've got my currently reading list out of the way, I'm going to start on my own TBR. I'm not going to give any synopses for these books, partly because it would take forever, and partly because, honestly, I don't remember what half of them are about. I read the synopsis of a book in order to determine if I want to read it, but once I've decided that I want to read that book, I pretty much promptly forget what it's about. I try not to watch YouTube reviews or recommendations on that book from that point on because I'd like it to be as spoiler-free as possible. So I'm going to go through my physical TBR, which is on the floor in front of me, which you cannot see, but I can, and it's pretty daunting. And then I'm going to go through my ebooks and audiobooks, of which there are not nearly as many, but the audiobook TBR is a little frightening for me because as I said before, I have a hard time finding time to read audiobooks. I have a mixture of old books and some new books. Most of them are older. I buy a lot of my books used, so I don't always find new books when I want to get them. So I have found most of these books used, including the beautiful Fairy Loot editions that I have. I got from a library sale, which was really, really lucky. But anyway, that's beyond the point. So let's go ahead and get started. If there are any books on this list that you are passionate about and want me to get to right away, go ahead and share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the books that I'm currently excited about reading. So I'm going to start on this side over here. I do have some series in here, or second books, or third books, or sometimes fifth books that I don't have the rest of the books for. But I am just going to show the series if there are multiple books and not talk about each book individually. So the first series that I have is this Dragonlance Chronicles Volumes 1, 2, and 3. I believe there's a fourth one since there are 4 seasons of the year and these are named after the seasons, but I do not have the fourth one. But I have had these on my shelf for a really long time and would like to get around to reading them. The next is the Dragonlance Legends by Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman, same author for the last ones as well. I have had these for just as long as I've had those other ones. I don't know why I ended up with so many Dragonlance books, but I have a lot of them and I would like to read them, even though they are, kind of older fantasy at this point. I would like to still get to them. By the same authors, we have Legacy of the Dark Sword. And by just Margaret Wise, we have Mistress of Dragons, which I'd like to get to as well. In the next pile, I have Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I think I'm going to start a priority TBR list while we're talking and put the books that I'm most excited about in there. We have The Wren in the Holly Library by K.A. Lind. And The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. Nevernight by J. Kristoff, which this book looks so interesting to me, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. I have heard really good things about this. I actually do remember the premise of this book, and I am excited to check it out. It's probably going in my priority TBR, to be honest. We've got The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. And next is a very old and very fun looking book called Season of the Spell Song by Alan Dean Foster. I picked this up from a used bookstore because it's got a giant otter in adventurer's clothes on it, and I just have to find out why. The next series is by Daniel L. Jensen. It's Dark Shores, Dark Skies, and The Gilded Serpent. The Imposter King by Eli Hinz. And the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. My husband keeps telling me that I need to read this, so it's on my TBR. I am going to get to it. We have all except for one of the books, so which I do have on ebook, so I have all of them, and I just really need to get to it at some point. The next pile starts with the Crestomancy Quartet, which is 4 books in one. I have started this before and set it aside, and I would like to get back to it. It's one that's been on my shelf for years, and I just really need to get around to reading it. Next is Guardians of Dawn, Zara, by S.J. Jones. I have also started this one. I'm really bad about starting books and then putting them aside. Some I never come back to. Some I do come back to. It just depends, really. This one I only got about 20 pages into before I put it aside, so I still do want to get to this one. We've got A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. Aragon by Christopher Pellini. This is a reread for me. It's just been a really long time and I never finished the next books in the series, and I would like to try again. The next one is Green Teeth by Molly O'Neill. This is a priority TBR for me. It's been one that I've been really intrigued by, and in my reading challenges for this year, this is supposed to be my book for next month, so I'm going to put this in my priorities. The next book is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nyan. I don't know much about this book, but it looks interesting and I am excited to read it. The Great Wen by Alan Moore. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. You can see that I've already got a bookmark in this one because, once again, I started it. I got about 20 pages in and I stopped, but it's still on the TBR. I would still like to get to it. Next is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, starting with Cinder and then followed by Scarlet. I have had these ones. Scarlet I just barely got, but Cinder I've had on my list for a really long time and would like to get to soon. The next one is I don't know if it has a name, but the Villain series by Hannah Nicole Mirror. I think these books look so fun. I've heard they're really funny, and I'm just really excited to get to these. At least the first one is going to go on my priority TBR. In the next pile, we have The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This is going to go on my priority TBR. It was a book for Christmas from my husband, and I have heard amazing things about it. I've actually heard some people who didn't like it as well, so it seems like it's kind of on the fence. Some people either really like it or some people really don't like it, but given my tastes and that I really enjoy Rachel Gillig, I think that I will enjoy it as well. Next is Engines of Empire by R.S. Ford. I am afraid of this book. I think that I will enjoy it. I've heard that it's really good, but it's kind of chonky and it's more of an epic fantasy, I think, and I am a little nervous about it, but I am excited to try it. Same thing with this one, Gardens of the Boon by Steve Erickson. I know that this one is complicated and has a really vast world, but so many people think that this is one of the best books ever written, so I am willing to try it. I've already shared about One Dark Window. This is Two Twisted Crowns. It's also on my list as soon as I get that one finished. Then we have Clockwork Angel. You can tell that I bought this from the thrift store. And then the City of Bones trilogy by Cassandra Clare. Same author. I have several series from this author that I would like to get started, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So this one, I only have the first, the third, and the fourth book, so I would need to get the second book at some point. And Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. So once again, same author. Next is Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I am really excited about this one. This was another Christmas present for my husband, and I am going to put this one on my priority TBR. In the next pile, we have Lord of the Fading Lands by C.L. Wilson. This is one that I picked up from the thrift store just recently. I thought that it sounded really interesting, so we're going to see how that one goes. Another old one that has an amazing cover is Curse of the Mistwraith. I don't know if you can see the cover, it's kind of shiny, but it looks like bards, which, I mean, how can you go wrong with bards? The next one is For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten. Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong, which I've heard fantastic things about and I'm looking forward to. And the next one is The Priory of the Orange Tree and A Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. I don't know how to prioritize these because they are so big, but I am really, really interested in reading them. So I'm probably going to put Priory of the Orange Tree on my priority TBR. Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian. I think this is it's a Camelot retelling, so I'm interested in that and we'll see how that one goes. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have heard really great things about this one. I am interested in it. Probably not as interested as I am in some other books, but I am interested in reading this one still. This is one that we picked up at a thrift store that my husband was actually interested in, so we'll see whether he likes it better or if I do. And Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I feel like I should have read this a long time ago, but I have had it on my shelf for a while and I'm going to get to it hopefully this year. The next series, which I feel like you guys are going to flay me alive for not reading yet, is Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I do not have Onyx Storm yet. I got both of these from a thrift store, so I do not have the third book yet, but I am looking forward to reading this. It's my sister's favorite book, so I definitely need to get around to it. Star Daughter by Shveta Thakrar, I think. I don't know much about this one, but it looks very interesting and I'm excited to try it. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. And we've got Daughter of the Moon Goddess and Heart of the Sun Warrior by Su Lin Tan. I would like to put Daughter of the Moon Goddess on my priority TBR. The next one is The Raven Cycle by Maggie, right? Yeah, Maggie Stiefvater. I have started this one. I listened to it on audiobook. I got quite a ways in, actually, and then stopped running at the track, like I said, so I kind of forgot about it. And I would like to get back to it. An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. This is actually a book that my son read first, and I didn't even have it on my radar until I saw the re-release with the other cover, and for some reason that book grabbed my eye more, so I'm going to try it, and we'll see how it goes. The next one is Bloodleaf by Crystal Smith. The 9 Lives of Chloe King by Liz Braswell. I've had this one for a really long time. I feel like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like it. It's an older book, and we'll see whether I do or not. Then we've got a bunch of Holly Black, The Cruel Prince, The Stolen Heir, The Prisoner's Throne, and The Darkest Part of the Forest. I know they're not all the same series, but they're all kind of in the same universe. I believe you start with The Cruel Prince. If you know which one to start with, just let me know. The next one is A Letter to the Luminous Deep by Sylvie Cathrall. This is one that I am excited to read. It's going to go on my priority TBR. Next, we've got The Book of Doors by Gareth Brown. The Serpents and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I have had this one for longer than I care to admit because I was so excited when I bought it, and I just still haven't gotten around to it. The next one is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. And The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, which I believe is the same person, but I am not 100% sure on that. And now ones which I feel like I should have gotten to a long time ago. So we've got Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I have had this one on my shelf for years and years, and I still have not gotten around to reading it. I've heard that it's really good, and I'm looking forward to trying that one out. And then we've got the Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo as well. I started Shadow and Bone and wasn't loving it. I'm going to give it another try, though. Got The Hexologists by Josiah Bancroft. And I've got the first two books of the Red Queen series. I am nervous about this one. I've heard that the second book gets really political, and that's one of the main things that makes me put down books is super heavy politics. So I am going to try it, and we'll see how it goes. We've got From Blood and Ash and Fall of Ruin and Wrath, both by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Your Blood, My Bones by Kelly Andrew. And The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. The last ones that I'm going to share with you are all of my pretty books. They're the ones that I got from the library on a day that somebody came in with 7 boxes of Fairy Loot and just other book box subscription books. And I was able to be the first one to go through them and picked out a bunch to bring home. The first one off this pile is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, which I am nervous about. It looks dark, and I'm not sure how I feel about dark books yet, but I am very intrigued by it, so we'll see how it goes. The next one is Bonesmith by Nikki Pau Preto. The Courting of Bristol Keats by Mary E. Pearson. The Ones We Burn by Rebecca Mix. Son of Blood and Ruin by Marielle Laris. A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen. A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. Faybound by Sarah L. Arifi, which I am really interested in. I'm going to add this one to my priority TBR. The Girl with No Reflection by Kesha Chow. And Sanctuary of the Shadow, by Aurora Asher. So that is my physical TBR. Now I'm going to run through my digital and audiobook TBR in no particular order. And I just have to read them off of my list because I don't have them in front of me. So the first one is the Shadows of the Apt series by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have never read an Adrian Tchaikovsky book, but I have heard that they're very good, so I'm excited to try that series. I have a couple of other ones from him, The City of Last Chances, and also the Echoes of the Fall series as well. All of those I am excited to try. Another one, which I believe is either a young adult or maybe a middle grade fiction, is Song of Silver, Flame Like Night, and then its sequel by Emily Wen Zhao. An Inheritance of Magic by Benedict Jacka. Call of the Herald, Inherited Danger and Regent by Brian Rathbone. Queen of Roses by Briar Boleyn. The Book of Coley by Craig R. Carey, which I am really excited about. I have that one on audiobook, so I'm hoping to get to it soon. Inkblood Sister Scribe by Emma Tors. She of Many Dragons by Honor Ray. The Will of the Many by James Islington, which everyone who has read it that I've watched review it has said that it is a fantastic book, so I'm looking forward to that one. The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. In the Veins of the Drowning by Kaylee Cassidy. The Bloodletter's Daughter by Linda Lafferty. Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. The Mountain of Souls by Marcus Lee. The Last Sword Mage by Martin F. Hengst. The rest of the Dungeon Crawler Carl series, which my husband is reading it at the same time as me, and he's getting ahead of me, so I really need to get that one done. The Alchemist by Michael Scott. I have that one on audiobook and the rest of the series on physical book for some reason. So I would like to read that one so that I can get the other ones read as well. The Sorcerer's Ring series by Morgan Rice. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne, which is definitely the only classic on my list and might possibly be the only non-fantasy book on my list. I'm not really big on classics, but that's the only one that has ever sounded intriguing to me, so let me know if I should even bother reading it. The Beggar King, The Dark Monk, and the Hangman's Daughter by Oliver Posch. Dead Tired by Ravensdagger. The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. I've heard that series is really good, so I'm looking forward to that. The Keys to the Realm and The Well of Tears by Roberta Tran. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. The Jasad Heir by Sarah Hashem. The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. The Gentleman Bastard series by Scott Lynch. Off to Be the Wizard by Scott Mayer. He Who Fights with Monsters by Shirtaloon, which is another lit RPG. I know that there are a lot of books in that series. I have the first two, so we're going to try those and see how it goes. And then the last one on the list is Thief's Magic by Trudy Canavan. So now I'm going to get the final count. While I'm tallying it up, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we will see what the final verdict is. Okay, you guys, I have some bad news. It's good news, but it's also bad news. My owned TBR is 154 books that I have not read that I intend to read. This is great news because it means I have 154 books that I can read and enjoy. It's not so great news because it's probably going to take me a really long time to get through them. But I am looking forward to the challenge, and I hope that you will continue to join in on the adventure. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.